Hey man, it's 2018.
All right, well, you can get the shit rolling, and we can start whenever you ready.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, um, niggas and bitches, as Pharrell once said.
Niggas and bitches. Yes,
This
sir.
this is the introduction, the beginning, the genesis of Beware the L's, your new favorite podcast.
Listen, I just want everybody to know, I don't mean to steal the mic away,
Of
from
course,
my
go ahead, do your
from
thing, brother.
my, from my illustrious co-host,
Do your thing.
Mr. West. But I don't know if y'all understand how much has had to happen just just to put this shit together. A lot of long nights drinking henny, coming up with ideas, and never came to fruition.
Yep,
Uh,
facts.
uh, 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 a lot of nights where we wanted to put some shit on wax and just ended up playing 2K because at the end of the day,
That is
we
facts
are
as
for the
well.
culture and we are niggas. But
Yes.
we got a lot that needs to be said and we had to bring it to y'all. So we are your illustrious dynamic duo, myself, Uptown Ace Boogie, aka the DJ Authentic, aka Tyrone Lannister. You can follow me on all social media at Uptown Ace Boogie, and I'm gonna shoot it over to my co-host.
That's right. That's what I was going to say too. This is at least 3, maybe even 4 years in the making, ladies and gentlemen. This is anticipation has been crazy, but now it's finally here, and we trying to show off for you guys. So I am the illustrious, the impeccable, the effervescent. I looked that word up a little earlier. Wes.
Bubbly nigga?
Huh?
You bubbly? Effervescent?
Effervescent. The bubbly, and it means with a lot of spirit. And I'm
Oh,
drinking a lot of spirits, so I'm feeling some type of way. You dig? Yes, I am Wes. Ain't that Wes on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, everything else. My MySpace is not popping anymore, but you can still look me up. Um,
nigga still got Kiss Me Through the Phone ringing through the streets. You
definitely,
know what I'm saying?
definitely. Of course, that's the only song you could have. Oh yeah, follow me. It's me, Austin. We just gonna hear talking our shit. Giving y'all opinions on everything. Hot takes, controversial stuff,
Lots of hot takes.
ideas, just everything. We just out here talking. It's conversation between the bros. That's what we try and build it as, and that's what it is.
Listen, man, we at the end of the day, everybody always want to throw that term, the culture, out here so crazy. Everybody
Yep.
act like everything is for the culture.
That's what
Listen,
they
nigga,
say.
not everything is for the culture. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there first. Not all your Instagram pics are for the culture.
Nope.
A lot of your Instagram pics is just for shit.
For
your
your
own ego.
for yourself.
It's
That's what it is.
not everything you do is for the culture. You can't be throwing up the Wakanda forever everywhere you go.
Nope.
Just
Time and
cause
place.
you buy a fresh pair of kicks or some shit. You go, no, nigga, you're not for the culture. You are for vanity, alright? And that's cool because we all a little bit vain. But at the end
Yes.
of the day, that is what we want to bring. Black culture is thriving right now in all areas. All areas.
It's about damn time.
From the music side to the mainstream pop culture to the movies and everything else. And there are 15 million different podcasts that's gonna be out here discussing a lot of things, but we appreciate any and everybody who's gonna rock with us. Cause like we said, this shit is a long fucking time coming. We just two bros who grew up, came up on the same floor of a fucking project, of a project dorm building. You feel me?
Big.
Drinking a lot of Four Locos.
The original, the OG Four Locos, not the young shit you knew niggas be on. Dude. I'm gonna go get that straight. We've been doing this.
The real shit with the caffeine.
All the caffeine.
Alright, just a lot of Four Locos, watching a lot of fucked up shit go down. In dorm bathrooms. Shit gets wild up there.
Shout out to Lake Hall, the trap house.
Shout out to the 4-4 gang. Shout out to Rosie Nix, Pro Bowler, my nigga.
Pro Bowler, we did it from the trap.
Yes, sir. So yeah, but we here, man, and we just want to bring y'all the freshest and the realest and the most authentic out of these takes we can possibly find. Now, speaking of the culture, nothing defines the culture more right now than the homie King T'Challa, the Black Panther. Now,
that is the definition of culture as it stands
now
right now.
I think it's me personally. I knew this shit was gonna be big, but did I have any idea that it was gonna take on the type of legs that it is taking on? Nah, not at all.
Nah.
Shit has gone so brazy and it's become such a phenomenon that you don't even care that your girl is going to sleep dreaming about Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman. Who gives a fuck?
Shit, she ain't the only one. Nick my cool as hell, man. Everybody in that movie cool as hell. We all dream about the same thing, and that creates a synergy and unity between you and your relationship, not just with your girl but with others, because we're all dreaming, thinking about the same thing constantly, and it's beautiful.
Just the representation, man. I mean, the shit. Me myself, having a Pan African Studies degree, Mr. Hotep. I'm just letting y'all know there's gonna be more than one time where I'm gonna come out on my Alan Payne. I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. I'm blackity black.
Blackety black, and I'm black, y'all.
It's gonna come out. I got a kufi on right now. Y'all can't see it, but it's right there.
I can
Um,
verify.
for me, man, like I said, the representation meant so a lot. I mean, coming up, and a lot of the youngest may not even get it, but just coming up, man, and in an era where, first of all, when we was young, we didn't even have comic book movies. We didn't
Nope,
have that shit.
none of
That
that.
shit didn't really start popping off till X Men in 2000, and then after that, only seeing Hugh Jackman, Chris
Mhm.
Evans, Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
And while these are some of the realest niggas to ever step on a movie screen,
That is
that
true.
don't do shit. It don't do shit for me to see fucking Terrence Howard getting 15 minutes of screen time in Iron Man.
Calling people man. Iron Man. Yeah, glad you put the respect on Iron Man. Like they were definitely, like you said, like definitely dope people, definitely dope characters. But as a young black kid, you can only relate to them so much.
Facts. Facts.
So definitely, I'm gonna take it just a little bit back, like from where you said like you saw it being big. I didn't see it being this big. Like I saw Civil War, very good movie, and I saw the swell, I guess, in Twitter and everything else when we saw Black Panther. We saw T'Challa and what it was gonna be like, and I knew it was gonna be pretty big in the culture, but I didn't realize it was gonna be this transcendent, not just in the culture but outside the culture, as a movie, as a film, as just a depiction of life in a sense. It gets real deep, and I'm glad
Yeah.
that it popped off like this.
Oh, for sure. And just letting y'all know, if y'all haven't seen Black Panther right now, fuck you.
The,
So
the
y'all
long
getting
way.
all the spoilers. Y'all getting all the spoilers. Really don't give a shit at this point. If you haven't seen it, go for it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely on you.
no, and this is a big thing because this is one of the first movies that my pops. You gonna hear a lot about both of our popses.
Oh boy.
Black dads make the world go round.
It's so true, man. So true.
This was the first movie, and I would say probably, listen, my dad is an old fucking grouch. Alright, this nigga used to get down back in the day. Alright, he used to be out here in the streets pushing
Mm-hmm.
back in the 70s and shit. But now, I can barely get him to leave the house, and when he does, it's usually go golfing or some shit like that. So for him to come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the movies and see this," and not just bootleg it off the Fire Stick, that meant a lot to me. Alright, cause
I swear to God, that is literally what my dad did. He got them little. He don't got the fire stick. He got a little fake fire stick. 'Cause he ain't paying no full price for no fire stick. Black dads, but got the little bootleg joint for the barbershop. I can respect it. But yeah, I was like, yeah, because I went and saw it. And he's like, he was asking me about it, and I was like, yeah, it's definitely dope. You should probably pull it up on a little stick or whatever. And he was like, nah, I can't do that, man. I gotta go see this in the movies. I said, you know what, brother? You is a good brother after all, man.
you all right. Yeah, man. So it just, to see everything that inspired from, generations up top, to our parents, our grandparents, all the way down to, my nephew who's 10, who I've never seen him more excited, for any superhero movie, definitely in his
That's dope.
short career lifetime. It means a lot, and now you're gonna have a whole generation of kids that's gonna come up thinking that shit is normal, thinking that
Right.
seeing, Chadwick Boseman and Lupita. First of all, shout out to Lupita Nyong'o. Jesus Christ.
Man,
Um,
I found a new respect for her after this movie.
I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Yeah,
I'm just leave it at that.
you got to.
Shit's already been said to death, but that woman is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Seeing the Lupita Nyong'o's and Queen Angela Bassett and
Yep.
Princess Shuri, the most G of all Disney princesses of all time.
Of course. Shout out to Black Mirror.
Shout out to the Black Museum episode of Black Mirror. If you ain't seen that shit, yeah, go ahead, yeah,
Go ahead.
you
You're
go and
right.
take that in. It just it gets to the point where it almost it low key makes you emotional. Cause like I said, shit like that is just not normal for us.
Right.
Now, like I said, it's gonna be spoilers. All right, now that's just part of the game. So Wes, what was your favorite scene, line, etc. from the Kingdom of Wakanda?
Um, my favorite scene line. It has to be. It's a tie between two lines, both from the same character. You probably can guess them, or at least guess who the character was.
I'm gonna go with my nigga that had the swagged out fur line denim jacket, King Killmonger.
Of course, it was definitely Wallace from The Wire. Came through with the quotes of the
Where
movie.
the fuck is Wallace? Wallace is
Where's
in Wakanda,
Wallace?
nigga.
That's where Wallace was this entire time. We had no idea. We thought Wallace was gone, but nah. Wallace was getting right for challenge day. But yeah, so when the initial quote when he was in the museum and talking about how I should have pulled the quote up before I started talking. But how do you think your ancestors got this? Do you think they paid a fair price or whatever that quote was to be exact? I'm sorry, Michael.
Yeah, no, when old girl the colonizer.
The colonizer,
so
yes.
I unfortunately I call all white people colonizers now. Listen, no
Disrespect. Yeah.
You know, no disrespect, to any of y'all who don't deserve it. But again, after seeing Black Panther twice, it's just a part of your normal, regular vocabulary.
It's a fact.
No, old girl pulled up on him in the museum.
Mm-hmm.
She's talking to him about the exhibits and shit, and he was like, "Oh no, it's all good. I'm gonna take this off your hands for you."
Ugh.
And she's like, "Oh, what? Sorry, these are not for sale." Like, "Oh, you thought your ancestors paid a fair price? Oh, excuse me."
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
So you got me got me fucked up out here, man.
The other line that I know that you're going for is probably my favorite line.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, after
Mm-hmm.
Michael B. Jordan gets murked.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if I had to have one gripe about the movie, I feel like Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman did not have long enough fight scenes. I feel like the shit was a tad bit anticlimactic.
A bit.
Just a bit.
A bit.
Just a tad. That's what takes it from a 100 to a 99 on Rotten Tomatoes for me.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But still, the last thing we hear from Killmonger, man, I tell you.
So just to frame it, a little bit, Chadwick Boseman sticks a fucking a blade, a katana, through
Katana
heart, straight from Mexico,
Yep.
Through Michael B. Jordan's heart, and this nigga is just living. I've never seen somebody live for so long.
Definitely survived for at least I want to say maybe 2-3 minutes of screen time. But in the actual time, he went from like the middle of the vibranium place outside, so at least like maybe 5-10 minutes of real life time.
That nigga took an elevator. He rode a scooter. He did all this shit. Like, wow, he's got a fucking knife in his chest. So once again, shout out to my true king,
King Killmonger, of course.
And Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, he wants to save him. He's like, oh no, we can heal you.
That is his cousin. It is
his fan, so I understand. Yeah. And Killmonger looks at him. He like, nigga, what? Like, you want to save me for what? So you can lock me up, put me in chains? No, nigga.
Nah.
Bury me in the ocean next to my ancestors. They jumped from the ships, cause even they knew that death.
It's been in bondage. God damn. When I heard that, man, I felt that in my chest.
In your chest.
I felt that in my soul.
Katana in his chest.
Yes. Oh man.
Listen, don't wanna go on for too long about it, but King fucking Killmonger. King Killmonger was probably the best Marvel villain that we have seen in this universe. Not because there haven't been other worthy villains, but look at some of these movies.
Yeah.
You got what, Ultron and
Bucky or the Winter Soldier.
Bucky Barnes and fucking Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, you got the Red Fit. Well, I forget my Red Skull, my man's name, but
Yeah,
Guy pulls his face off, and he's got his skull. That's it.
he's just he's just blood gang Sue Pyru from the
Yeah.
storm. It's like,
Shut up.
all right, dude,
All right,
I
brother.
see you.
Yeah.
I mean, Killmonger was he had dimensions, and this is this is obviously a testament to the genius of Ryan Coogler.
Big
But
shouts to him, man.
big shout out to Big Cool. 3 movies, man, already the highest in terms of gross, the highest grossing black director of all time in throughout his first 3 movies.
I'm saying this is what it can't be more than what 4 years.
Yeah,
That's
that's it.
insane. That's insane.
Coming from, or he started with Fruitvale.
Say
which was,
Fruitvale, yeah.
That might have been 2012, but regardless, Killmonger had depth. He had dimensions. He wasn't just a 21 Savage.
I'm here to destroy. Right.
I'm gonna need $21 million
Or
in 21 minutes. I'm gonna blow up
blow
21
up.
cities on Earth.
Right.
Nah, he was. You felt him. You understood. I mean,
Yeah. That's where I came from. Like, looking at him, I felt myself siding more so with the villain in a movie for one of the first times ever. Like he was a villain, but he had legitimate reasons behind his way of thinking that made you say, you know what, maybe the hero, maybe the protagonist isn't necessarily right in this case. And the fact that Marvel and Ryan Coogler brought that depth and that I don't even know the word I'm about to say right now, a little smiz right now, but just the fact that
which is also going to be a constant,
of course
on this pod. We take our cues from the guys Jesus and Miro. So
big shout out to them, inspiration.
Shout out to both of the boys. So of course.
But yeah, just the fact that they were able to develop that type of depth and just idealism for that character was great, and I definitely appreciated that. And that's, like you said, he's definitely, I think, the best, one of the best, if not the best, Marvel villain we've seen. And as far as action superhero type movies, he might be up there in the villain hierarchy with Heath Ledger's Joker.
Ooh, now that is a beautiful segue, my co-host, because
I do this.
Ever since Black Panther has dropped, of course, black people can't just let anything be good.
Nope.
Okay? We don't just say, you know what, Black Panther is one of the best movies that I've ever seen, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. No, we always got to start comparing. We always got to start, okay, well, this nigga had more clout than this nigga. This nigga had more money than this nigga. So of course, when it comes to 2 of the realest to ever grace comic books or films or whatever, it's going to lead you to the debate that's been raging on Twitter over the last week, which is King T'Challa versus Bruce Wayne.
This one hurt me. Like I've been a huge Batman fan for as long as I can remember, but the Black Panther King T'Challa is an icon. I feel like I relate to him on more of a personal level. But looking at them both and seeing the discussions on Twitter has led me to do a little bit more thinking and a little bit more reflection upon my 2 of my comic book heroes.
Do your Googles, ladies and gentlemen. So by doing your Googles, what did you find?
I found that, and this is I want to give definitely shout out to Black Twitter for at least putting some of these ideas out there that I can look and investigate in
Gang.
for life.
Really quick, you don't mean to interject, but if
means.
you are Twitter OGs such as ourselves, do yourself a favor and go back and download your tweet archive from 4, 5, 6 years ago. Take it back, personally, we took it back to 11, 12, and I will tell you, you will be shocked, mystified, and rolling on the floor from some of the shit that you may find from your old self. For example, myself.
Here we go.
I was one of those guys. I was the follow back, winky face. That was me. I was 4 o'clock in the morning. Who up? Text or DM.
We've all been there.
Let's see. I don't think I used the term THE. I think everything was DA.
Obviously.
I didn't use a lot of proper pronouns.
Of course not. That you're preaching to the choir right here, my guy. I was myself. When I find myself bored at my place of employment, I do often do my advanced Twitter searches just to see what I was on, just to make sure I was at coming correctly, and I found out that I was not
No.
on my best
Um.
behavior. I was tweeting at celebrities with very
Oh.
rude, inconsiderate things.
Trying to get blocked. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I've been blocked
Um.
by quite a few people. I've definitely changed. I've grown. Um, but I still feel that same way. I definitely got some slander. And I also have the hands for Dan Dockich. I'm putting an official challenge out there right now. He was slandering Marvin Bagley last night.
Well,
I felt some type of way.
Dad Dockage deserves all the fucking hands. That dude has been an ass clown for as long as I can remember. Now, Dan Dockage looks quite foolish on a daily basis,
Yes.
but is he quite as foolish as my famous tweet from spring of 2011 after having a schmack night at JB's in Kent?
Salute to
After I said,
JB's one time. One time for
after I
JB's,
said
man.
that Roscoe Dash was going to be the next Nate Dogg? I don't know. I.
Listen, you are not the only one to have been on Roscoe. I was willing to die for Roscoe Dash Hive. I want to say I'm one of the original members of Roscoe Dash Hive. I still low key am. Shout out to Demolition 2020, one of the mixtapes that powered me through my freshman year of college. But continue, sir.
If you're listening,
Come on the
you know,
show. Come on the
you
pod.
fans out here, you are allowed on the show whenever you want. We know that you wrote Lotus Flower Bomb. We're not gonna let anybody tell
Nope.
us any different.
Nope.
Okay. Now, I didn't mean to interject. Back to the task at hand.
I found in my discoveries is that we was looking through and we found that Batman, a lot of the villains and people that he was fighting, they weren't exactly the toughest competition. We looking through here, he found he was messing with a lot of people from Arkham, which were people with who weren't exactly at full capacity mentally,
They're not all the way there.
not all the way there.
They won. They got a little '08 Britney Spears running in them.
Little shaved
For sure.
head, little shaved head. I'm a slave for you, all that good shit. So anyway, some of the names I just gathered were I was looking at the Joker. The Joker really has no superpowers. He's just a guy who is crazy and just wants to cause anarchy and see shit burn. Um, so he's not really a what you would call a supervillain in a sense of the classic supervillain you would think of a Lex Luthor or somebody with fucking superpowers.
Facts.
There's a Batman villain named Calendar Man.
Calendar Man.
Calendar Man.
Calendar Man's power.
Calendar Man's power was absolutely nothing. Calendar Man was called Calendar Man because he had a penchant for doing, I guess, evil things on holidays, which is pretty easy for Batman to stop and say, hey, you know what? I think 4th of July is coming up. Calendar Man might be on some shit. Let me go ahead and defend Gotham.
You know what? Batman has always been my favorite growing up. Always.
Of
been
course,
my favorite.
yeah.
I think I always respected the fact that he was just a G'd out nigga with no powers and a lot of money that had a lot of broads, and he kind of just took that and ran with it. And I think that's always very admirable. Being a young black male growing up in the middle class suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio. I think that's something I can identify with and something I can look up to.
Yep.
But time goes on, and you realize that Superman is very like altruistic, very kind of everyman, kind of I stand up for the people. Man, don't give a fuck. And,
Nope.
And this is, and all you gotta do, you don't even really have to get too deep into the comic books. Just look at the movies. I mean, this guy literally like Heath Ledger blew up half the city, allowed him to kill Harvey Dent. This nigga disappeared for 10 years.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's a dick. He doesn't care.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
I saw some tweets somebody was saying, hey, if the Wayne Trust ever got fucked up, Batman's right there in the street with a fucking NRA sticker on the back of his truck driving around. Batman don't give a fuck about y'all.
But he really doesn't. Everybody always talking about how much he sacrificed for Gotham. He hasn't sacrificed a damn thing for Gotham.
Nope.
Bruce Wayne is rolling in bread. Bruce Wayne pays for his women. First of all, I'm sorry, Bruce, but
to be clear, even though I'm not that broke, there's nothing wrong with that. It's 2018. You got to accept it. If you got to pay for it, you got to pay for it. Facts. Let's move forward.
And it's one of those situations where you hate to have to look at your idols differently.
Yeah, they say never meet your heroes, but I mean this isn't really beating them because they're not real people. But still, coming to terms with what they are.
Rick Ross meeting Birdman, and then imagine his surprise when he found out his watch was fake.
His watch was fake. He made a whole song, made the lead single of the album. But anyway, Speaking of going back to Batman being retired, the person that retired him, one of the people who was in charge of sending him out for 10 years or 8 years, I believe, whatever the exact time frame was a nigga who lost half his face, and his superpower is flipping a fucking coin. Think about that. This nigga got retired by a nigga who flips a coin.
You know when you put it in perspective, T'Challa, his arch nemesis was always Claw, which actually accentuated and made Killmonger look like that much more of a real one.
Yep.
To mercilessly slay Black Panther's arch nemesis in an off-screen bullet to the head,
and just bring him back to the crib like, yo.
And bring him back in a body bag for my man's from Get Out to find.
It's beautiful. Shout out to him.
Very beautiful. But a lot of times he was going head up with a lot of real Marvel supervillains. And when it comes to supervillains, I don't think DC really touches Marvel. I mean, Marvel got niggas like Thanos just deboing his way.
Oh my god.
Alright. Shout out to Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Wayne was fighting Poison Ivy.
She talks to plants.
Who
She can make the petunia twerk. I don't know what.
Yeah, man skill talking to plants, making the petunia twerk. As you said, the penguin, handicap guy.
Yeah.
The disabled dude with flippers for hands and likes to eat raw fish. Literally, not a smidgen of a superpower.
Nope, this nigga likes sushi. He's getting fucked up by a nigga who likes sushi.
Catwoman's a real ass G. She was out here in these streets, but also no superpowers.
I'm just taking nigga shit.
As you mentioned, a nigga with a burned face with superpowers flipping a coin.
Yep. I got two more special ones for you. These are probably like the top upper echelon of Batman villains for you.
Go ahead.
There's a villain called Film Freak.
Film Freak.
This guy liked to commit crimes that he saw in movies. So I guess for Batman to defeat him, all this nigga had to do was be, I don't know, bored watching Netflix, catch maybe an HBO special, and say, hey, you know what? I can stop this guy because I know he's gonna do what I just saw in this fucking movie. That's not bad.
Some fucking detective.
Yeah.
Right?
Shit. Yeah.
Some fucking detective.
But the one that takes the goddamn cake is the super villain they call Condiment King. Yes.
Condiments as in ketchup, mustard, and relish.
Yes. Condiment King, whose superpower was walking around Gotham with some sort of canisters on his back full of condiments. I saw a short clip from the animated series today in which Condiment King was spraying people with mustard. Someone came to stop him. It was a white gentleman. He pulled out a pack of hot sauce. I swear to you, I can retweet this on the page if you guys need to see this. Took some hot sauce out, squirted it, in my man's mouth, and he damn near perished.
Now, I assume that the man in question was a colonizer to not be able to handle a smidgen of hot sauce.
In fact, that is correct. He wilted like a flower that has not been watered. It was very painful for me to watch. Especially knowing myself, I'm not a super duper fan of hot sauce, but I know that if I were to have hot sauce use an attack against me, I'm pretty sure I would survive. But yeah, these are the villains that our hero Bruce Wayne was out here defeating on a nightly basis.
It's disappointing to say the least. Like I said, you literally grow up idolizing these dudes, and then you really grow up and you realize they ain't shit. It's kind of like your ain't shit uncle, who he's always.
Oh
like
my God, he's your hero, the coolest uncle. You're growing up as your hero. I want to be just like Uncle so and so, man. That's mine. He's always coming around. He's always got stuff for you. He's got cool stories, and then you grow up and find out this nigga been unemployed for 25 years.
Just doing enough to go back to jail and keep some money on his books. He lives with a big chick, like a 4, and her 3 kids.
Yes.
Somewhere around the corner, you act like the crib is his.
Yeah, it hurts.
He drinks much more Parmesan than he does Douce. He's a regular at the strip club, but Not like
Not the regular you want to be.
yeah, not the no sex in the champagne room regular, but the I'll
I'm
take
at the
it.
bar getting the wing deals regular.
Yeah. And it just bursts your bubble. And honestly, that's kind of what Bruce Wayne is. You know what? It don't
Yeah.
stop Batman from being an absolutely endearing villain. I mean, absolutely endearing superhero.
No.
Who, despite no superpowers, beats the shit out of a lot of niggas that have guns.
That's
Now,
very
speaking of
that's
guns,
very admirable. But yeah, speaking of guns, I know recently we're still within the 2 week period of the Parkland school shooting, which it's just a sad thing to see that this keeps happening in this country. It seems like every couple months there's some sort of big mass shooting. Um, it seems like we mourn about it, we talk about it for a couple days, couple weeks, forget about it, and then next thing we know, there's another one happening. So that kind of leads us into the conversation of the government, most notably the president, saying to uh, pushing the idea to bring guns for teachers to have guns in schools, or to bring people,
wow,
trained people, to have guns to monitor schools, which I think is
wow.
by far the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
There's so much wrong with that conversation, and we don't necessarily want to get super political, but when things need to be spoken on, again, that's what the culture is
Gotta talk
about.
about it.
When things need to be spoken on, they will be spoken on. Um, eh, First of all, I am not an opponent of the right to bear arms, which is always the kind of like rationalization that a lot of right wingers use in order to justify and protect the NRA for whatever reason. I'm not against the right to bear arms. It's in the Bill of Rights and it's there for a reason. You
Right.
deserve to have the right to protect yourself.
It makes sense.
Now,
Like, it's there real quickly. It's just like it's there for the reason it was put in there in the Constitution for to protect against the young American government, which could have been seen as, if say let's say the government wants to try to take over, we need our guns to kind of fight back. So when it was put in Constitution, it made sense, and even now to the point it does make sense.
it
But
still makes a
now
lot of
we
sense.
do need
But
to update this and change this. But go ahead.
oh yeah, I mean, but is there a reason for someone to be able to walk into Walmart and buy an assault rifle? Of course not.
No.
Is there any reason why somebody with a history of mental illness should be able to buy a gun without any type of screening? No, that's what doesn't make sense, and that has nothing to do with the right to bear arms. That has
Right.
to do with the government protection of the NRA, who
Yeah.
is one of the biggest supporters and one of the biggest contributors to the Republican Party. And that's all it's about. It's about money, ladies and gentlemen. They don't care the president, the government. They do not care about
Nope.
these young lives that are getting lost. They don't care about the fact that, school. We're literally having school shootings every week. Like, it's become normal.
Mm-hmm.
Wes, I don't know if you remember Columbine. Columbine, when it happened, was the biggest, most crazy, wild thing that anybody had ever seen in their lives, and now we have a Columbine every other week.
It's ridiculous, and it's not going to stop because the NRA keeps lining these politicians' pockets, and these politicians only care about money and getting reelected. So they're going to continue to cater their platform and their actions within Congress and everything towards pleasing the NRA, so they can continue to get the money and continue to get reelected. It's a cycle that's disgusting that is going to continue to happen until there's some real change. But yeah, like you were saying earlier, there's no reason that anybody should be able just to walk into Walmart and get an assault rifle, or even get, like, I understand, like, people should be able to get weapons. I respect that and I understand that, but the fact that people are able to get automatic and semi-automatic weapons with ease, it doesn't make any sense.
With ease. And there's been numerous bills shut down in Congress by the Republicans. This is one last year, which would have put protections in place to make people have to be able to pass some type of mental evaluation before being allowed to buy a gun. Shot down. For what reason? There's no rational explanation for
Nope.
that. And in terms of putting guns in schools or arming teachers, first of all, this is it's asinine on a couple of different levels. First of all, a lot of these schools, especially in the inner city, cannot afford supplies.
Yep.
Teachers can afford chalk.
Yep.
pencils and paper. Where are you going to get the money to get? And teachers are a lot of teachers only making $30,000 a year. Where are you going to give them? Where you going to take money out of their salaries, take money out of their pension to give them guns?
To give them guns.
First off, second off, or secondly, especially also when we talk about a lot of teachers going to areas that they don't know anything about, aka substitute teachers on the Key and Peele skit, going places
Yep.
where you know with the
A lot,
Aarons and
a
everything
lot of
else.
teachers and like Teach for America type deals.
Yeah, yeah, facts. Where they not hip, or you talk about people from the suburbs, white teachers going to inner cities who literally have no idea how to disciplinarily deal with these kids. What's gonna stop them from just pulling a gun out on a kid because he's talking too much? And don't
Exactly.
act like don't if this teacher's out here fucking kids, I'm sure that is somebody that will pull a gun on a kid for being bad.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Like you're asking these teachers to not only educate the youth, deal with a lot of these teachers, like you said, deal with substandard teaching conditions. But now you're asking them to have a firearm in the classroom, have them be trained to use a firearm, have them the responsibility that if anything pops off, for them to be the ones to stop what's popping off. Like right, like my mother's a teacher. She's been a teacher for pushing actually over 20 years now.
My mom was a teacher too.
And imagining my mom in school with a gun is one of the most wild things I've ever had to think about.
Couldn't imagine.
Like that's ridiculous. And then to even push it a little bit further, just to say like, hey, my mom's a first grade teacher, so she's got little kids. But imagine a high school teacher, right? High school teacher that the kids don't respect or whatever or anything like that. The kids feel some type of way. They can overpower the teacher and go ahead and get that gun, and then who knows
Easily.
what can happen there. So
Easily.
the solution for the school shootings and everything right now is clearly not more guns in schools.
No.
That is literally the last thing that needs to happen.
No. Kind of speaking on your point, my mom being a high school teacher too, not just being a high school teacher, being a special ed teacher. And I just think about how many situations she's in where she's had students, with disabilities or handicaps that, literally, may just not be able to, you know, kids on the spectrum and everything else, it just may not be able to grasp every situation.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are kids who they kind of become unnerved even when the bell rings.
Yeah.
And kids have put their hands on my mom before, not even in a oh I'm trying to hurt you way, but just I'm kind of this is how my mind works. I'm just kind of lashing out type of way.
Right.
So, again, if she's got a strap, that could be a family that loses a child because a teacher was not trained or equipped enough to be able to handle a situation. And
Yeah.
that's what we're setting ourselves up for.
Right.
And it's just it's we all know what's going on right now in this country, and it's again, we may sound a little crass sometimes, we may sound a little abrasive, but it's the truth. We know what the fuck is going on. Everybody knows what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And to just blatantly disregard so many lives, the losses of so many lives from the Parkland shooting to the Vegas shooting, going all the way back to Sandy Creek, doing all of that just for the sake of lining your pockets. It's just unfortunately it's America at its finest.
Yeah.
It's
sad, but
since day one.
sad but not surprising
Sad but not surprising.
in the least.
But that is our PSA, of course.
Right.
Follow us. I think we mentioned our personal handles, but haven't mentioned the handles of the actual pod.
Definitely did not do that.
That's the schmizness coming in. So Wes, if you would like to plug
Of course.
the handles for me.
Good brother, let me just pull up just to be sure. We are at Beware the L's. That is at BEWARETHELS. That's on Twitter. You can definitely email us as well at bewarethels@gmail.com if you have any questions. You want us to talk about any topics or anything, some feedback, just let us know what's going on. Let us know what you think. So yeah, just round into the last couple things we gotta talk about today. I am I guess known every once in a while. I come with some takes that people just that aren't
Thanks.
people don't agree with.
Yeah, no. This, let me just let me just frame this for y'all, okay?
I feel
Um,
correctly in what I believe, but for some reason people don't always agree with what I have to say.
let me just frame this for y'all. Now, again, you mentioned I've known this guy West for a long time. Okay, he's been around from from the early days in our project S dorm hall to the days going back to our college radio show to the DJ and party days to everything else going forward. And I've heard some of the most wild shit come out of this nigga's mouth that I've ever heard from any educated black man in my entire life. I mean, sometimes like this shit gets like, oh, cauliflower, cauliflower isn't real because nothing from the earth is really white type of shit. Like this dude really goes off the deep end. I'm not even going to discuss the time. Actually, I am going to discuss the time because of the schmizness. I am going to discuss the time that this man, while in charge of a student's, while in charge of a student organization Twitter handle, an official student organization Twitter handle, this guy tweeted, some days I wish I could just drop out of school and sell drugs. Uh, the the king, the king of hot takes.
Allegedly, I don't
Allegedly,
recall this.
or all his many fiery takes about Chief Keef or Lonzo Ball or or the big
What
ball of brand in general.
what remind me that brings me. Matter of fact, leave it right there. That brings us to my first hot take. Chief Keef is underappreciated as an artist, and I think might go down in history as one of the most influential artists to arise during our generation. And let me explain to you why. Actually, you know what? Let me hear your response, then I'll explain to you why.
See, this is funny because this may be your first time hearing him. So you may think that, oh, this nigga is just, he Skip Bayless. He just saying shit for shock value. He means this. This is coming from his heart. Like,
This is facts.
like legitimately, like when he goes to sleep at night, he thinks about shit like this. So when you hear one of these hot takes come out of his mouth, understand that this is coming from a true place of passion.
This is
That's
real.
what makes it funny.
If I ever get to the point where I'm out here skip balancing and making shit up, I will let you guys know, and I will tell you to not follow me or not listen to anything I have to say. But the reason, excuse me, I gotta get this henny burp out. But the reason why I talked to you about this Chief Keef thing, right? Chief Keef, this is 2012, 2011, 2012 when he started blowing up. It was 2012 to be exact.
Yeah.
So Chief Keef comes on the scene, drill music pops off like never seen before. Drill music was going in Chicago a little bit. Shout out to the Chicago homies I met up at camp.
Maddox, too.
All that.
South of Philly, and who's the other white dude from Ohio?
Slim G,
The little white dude.
Slim Jesus.
Yes, Slim.
Hey, my nigga Slim Jesus. How to Slim Jesus? But so the drill scene pops off with Chief Keef, escalates to and puts on the scene as well. Lil Reese, shout out Reese, SD, the homie, Lil Durk, shout out Lil Durk, and rest in peace, Pharaoh Santana.
I can't believe you gone.
That's crazy, man. Only 27. That's crazy. But yes, this scene pops up, and then this scene leads to what I would say is the mumble rap that we mumble rap and trap movement in a sense that we do see today. Trap music sort of it started like I was gonna save this for our best producers of all time discussion, but I'm gonna get into it a little bit right now. Lex Luthor and the Waka Flocka brought about the birth of trap music, and that kind of elevated with Young Chop and all the Chicago producers.
I'm dead.
And this brought forth, for like I said, the trap and mumble music that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got some bangers, we got some hits that are gonna last, that are gonna be some cookout joints, some barbecue things, some family reunion joints that we're gonna be playing for years to come. Therefore, Chief Keef is somewhat of an innovator, needs to be on the Mount Rushmore of this change in music, and we will respect him and his contributions to hip hop.
You know what? I will agree to an extent. I think Short Dread Chief Keef had a profound impact it had a profound impact on the game, and a lot of that comes from, again, it also has a lot to do with your time when you came up.
Of course.
Being in college during the time of his rise, DJing and being on a party scene during the time of his rise, you really saw uh, you really saw the influence that he had, and he definitely the drill scene has definitely led way to kind of this this mumble rap Takashi 6 9 era.
Shout out to Kashi.
But the
Somewhat,
issue
somewhat.
is it it all depends on how you feel about this mumble rap era. It's all It's not. It's just not all fun and games, man. All right, like
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we got some real hitters out here. Like Bad Bobby, and
Facts. She's talking.
and
She's out here talking on track.
Free Young Boy, Free NBA Young Boy,
Free, yeah, young boy, yeah, yeah.
and TK,
Ah, yes, my homie
and,
TK.
and some other young hitters.
Yes.
But um, I don't know if I want to credit Chief Keef for that. It's kind of like I love the snap music era. Oh,
Of course, that
I was in the hallways of my middle school, hitting the lean with it, rock with it. It's all them franchise boys cuts. But if I would have known that that era would have given way to, the dance craze, crank that SpongeBob, Ricky Bobby, you know,
crank that Roosevelt. Crank that Batman. I have a CD upstairs in my room right now, literally of at least 9 to 10 crank that songs.
yeah. So maybe I would have been supportive, and I kind of feel the same way about Chief Keef. Oh, I love me some hate being sober. I love Sosa. I love 300. I love Understand Me. But this is probably gonna be my hot take. If eliminating Chief Keef and Dirk and SD and all of them meant that I would have never had to have heard Takashi 6 9 or a lot of these little bums out here, then I could have lived without the drill music here.
Again, we're gonna divert here. At first, I was not a big fan of specifically of Takashi 6 9. Was not a fan of him. His whole swag, his whole look. I was very concerned. Then I started delving into the music, and I found myself kind of vibing with the music a little bit in a sense that. And then I saw somebody speaking to about it on Twitter, which really kind of opened my eyes to a little bit more. The kind of music he makes is the same kind of music that Little John was making in the late '90s, early 2000s. Hear,
Yo,
hear me out.
the hot take
Hear
machine
me
is
out.
rolling
Hear me out.
on episode 1 of Beware the Ills.
Hear,
It is rolling.
hear me out. I'm talking some real shit right here. Listen, it's that whole mash out, whole MOP, super duper crunk, beat up the 3 6 Mafia, beat up security type music that our parents and them were listening to. That's just trying to transform a little bit into shoot a nigga in the face, da da da. Trip his grandma, did this and that. It's it's got a couple. Cause you have to have a certain level of intellect to understand Takashi 6 9. They say that about J Cole, but they really mean that about Takashi 6 9.
Hey, uh, Takashi 6 9 will be the second person in the last decade to go platinum with no features. Okay, so
You guys heard it here first.
Um, bruh, you just compared Takashi to Lil Jon. Will we be here? So basically, you're saying when we walk into bar 145, R.I.P. Shout out to Kent.
Damn, I forgot about that.
When we walk into bar 145 establishments in 10, 15 years,
Uh-huh.
niggas are gonna be playing Gummo the way they play uh, Get Low. Is what you're telling me.
Partially. What I'm saying is not that he is a little. I didn't compare him to Little John in the sense of they're similar artists. I said they are comparable in the fact they make somewhat similar type brand of music. So, and I guess to put it in better terms, to if they were stores, Little John's Target, and Takashi 6 9 is, I don't know, your Kmart, and that they're similar in the sense of what the grand scheme of what they're doing is, but the level, like obviously Little John is a legend. Little John is a king in the South, but Takashi makes similar type music in which is like hardcore fighting. I'm gonna get drunk as possible. I'm gonna beat up security. I'm gonna do this and that type of music.
I'm so glad to be in my mid 20s right now. I really am, because I could not imagine having to live out my college years bumping Takashi 6ix9ine. I'm sorry, and being dependent on listening to Takashi 6ix9ine to have a
This
good
is
time at a
like
party. Okay.
I've been backed into a corner. I'm actually defending my man's like this. I rock with a couple of the songs, but now I feel like I am the spokesperson of the fan club.
All right. Well, go ahead. Put the rainbow on your Abby. Go ahead. Send that message out to everyone.
I might
All
have to do
right.
it
All right.
and block you with the Kai 6ix9ine thing. Scum gang.
Scum gang.
All
So
right.
are you done now? Is this it for your wild hot takes for the week?
I got a bunch of stuff I could say, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it to this for now. Actually, I'm real quick. I just want to touch on one thing. It's not really a hot take. It's just something I have a question about.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld, a legendary comedian,
Yeah.
legendary television show,
What's the deal with airplane food? Yeah.
syndication, all that.
Yeah.
This man is worth nearly $900 million.
Yeah.
How?
Syndication.
I understand syndication. I understand he's getting star money. He was getting star checks. He was getting producer checks. He was getting writer checks. He was getting co-creator checks.
Yeah.
How does that equal $900 million? That's
This
$1 billion of
this
being not I was gonna say marginally funny. He was pretty funny. $900 million being pretty funny.
is the shit that Monique was talking about, my loves. Um, Monique getting 500K for a Netflix special, versus Amy Schumer getting a smooth 1.5. That's what it's all about. Now Seinfeld came up back in the day, back in the 80s, and Jerry Seinfeld was funny for all intents and purposes. But can anybody name one joke from a Jerry Seinfeld stand-up?
Not I.
Now, how many jokes can you name off the top of the dome from a Kevin Hart stand-up, from a Chris Rock stand-up, from a Cat Williams stand-up? So again, privilege goes a long, long, long fucking way.
Yeah.
Now, this 900 milli, my good Sir West, I think you are severely underestimating how much bread Seinfeld is getting in syndication. It's currently the highest grossing TV show in syndication right now. So in terms of how much money they're getting from these local stations in order to air, it's Seinfeld and then Friends. All right. So when you have the support of white America, that's all you need. You don't need nothing else.
That
All right.
I just don't I just haven't really ran the numbers. We were talking about it. I was talking about it at work today, and then just looking up the net worth and just trying to say, you know what, you was a pretty funny nigga, and you turn pretty being pretty funny with like a pretty funny. He's pretty funny to
Yeah.
900 million to $1 billion.
Yeah.
That's your grandchildren's bionic children's grandchildren. Like that's like 14, 15 generations of we're good. We're sitting on his
Facts.
bread
Facts.
for
And
being
again,
alright.
that's where the privilege comes in because, like you say, Jerry Seinfeld is a pretty funny nigga. I wish I could be pretty good at anything and make that much money. I feel like I'm a pretty good DJ. I'm not in Magic City, all right?
I'm not even talking magic. We're talking about like you DJ in the Olympics or some shit like that. That's the type of levels that Seinfeld is on. Is you DJing some sort of world event.
Yeah, man, but listen, I ain't mad at him for getting this bread.
No, of course not. And I fuck with the show. I fuck with the show. Definitely fuck with him heavy for even rocking with Wale to the extent that he does.
Yes,
Um,
definitely need peace for that.
but I was just that was something I just questioned. And just real quick, this is not even a hot take. I just want to address one lie I saw on television recently. I saw a sports clips, shout out the barbershop, for people. Um, I saw a commercial with a black gentleman who was prominently featured in the commercial. I'm gonna address that as a lie right now. I have known black people I just turned 26. I've known black people for 26 years, and I have not known a black person in my life to ever go to sports clips, to ever rep sports clips like that. So I want to holler the sports clips about their.
It's a slanderous lie.
Yeah.
I live in a fair neighborhood, a good mix of black and white people. I don't live in Godric's Hollow like my esteemed co-host right here.
Oh yeah, we heavy out here. It's just mad mag out here, dog.
But there's a plaza where there is a wing stop next to a sport clips. And I'm just like, I feel like this is the most counterproductive shit I've ever seen in my life because black people love Wingstop, but nobody likes sports clips or no self-respecting black man would ever walk into sports clips and get the Tupac when he was in jail shape up.
Yeah, this is a
You know, it's just you know nobody's gonna walk in and get the T'Challa widow's peak.
yeah.
Um,
That's what you would get if you're lucky.
it's
Nigga walk out of there with bangs.
and it is slanderous and libel uh, because black people, and I talk about this all the time, specifically when I'm in the workplace trying to break it down to my colonizer coworkers. The 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 uh, the the sanctuary of the black barbershop is the most important institution in all of black culture for men, at
Yep.
least. It is right up there with the black church and cookouts as the
Mhm.
most important things in black culture.
Yep.
Your barber is your stylist, your confidant, your psychologist.
Mhm.
Uh, he is your
The relationship between a black barber and his patron is, I would say, perhaps the strongest relationship that a black man can have. You can have a wife, you can be married to your wife, you and your wife can have kids, you can be married
yeah,
for 30, 40 years. But
yeah,
the bond you have with your barber is something that I'd rather. I'm not currently in a relationship, but if I was in a relationship, I'd cheat on my girl in a heartbeat before I cheat on my barber. Shout out to Larry.
big, big facts, big facts, and a lot of people don't understand that. Even a lot of black women don't understand that because y'all just be bopping around to different hairdressers. Whoever can put in y'all crochets the best. You know what? Because y'all not loyal. All right,
Mm.
we is loyal to our barbers because they mean more to us than anybody else in the world.
Right.
All right, you don't let anybody just touch your hair. All right, facts.
That's the truth.
So, sports clips, y'all some fucking liars.
Yes.
I want that commercial rescinded immediately.
I'd also like an apology, and I'd like a coupon in case I ever just want to go in and just investigate, just to see what's going on, see what the business is. I heard there's some sort of hot towel involved. I might try to see what's popping off with that. But yes, that is a lie I wanted to address. That was I saw on television.
So so for anyone who's listening, like I said, who doesn't understand that bond, understand that America is lying to you.
Yes.
Not the first time, won't be the last, but it needs to be addressed. So,
Indeed.
we are gonna start wrapping it up. Just a little bit. You kind of want to come out here in this first episode and whet your appetites a little bit. Understand, the type of content that we're gonna be coming with
Mhm.
weekly. Beware the L's podcast.
Yeah.
But before we wrap it up, we are gonna hit y'all with our most prominent, our favorite, our signature segment. Because at the end of the day, the Beware the L's podcast is about the fact that you just gotta watch out. You ain't never. Nobody's exempt from an L. Doesn't matter what walk of life you're in. Doesn't matter how well you've been going for a long time. Everybody's susceptible to L's, and you gotta be ready for them. You gotta be able to bounce back for them.
That's true.
These specific entities or these people this week that we are going to discuss on our L's of the week, they were not able to avoid the L's for this go around, so they need to be flamed.
Word. Let me go first because I feel like mine's not really the greatest L I could find, but it is still an L nonetheless. My L of the week is the establishment known as Papa John's. Papa John's is somewhat breaking news, but Papa John's is separating their deal, their partnership with the National Football League. National Football League is one of the biggest entities in the world, perhaps the biggest sports league in the world right now, and Papa John's is mainly known for their trash pizza. So Papa John's was getting a big boost by being partnered with the NFL for promoting their trash pizza. Their cheese sticks are decent. I'll give you that. At decent at best, yes. They throw a little jalapenos in there for I don't know what purpose the jalapenos serve.
It's probably the best part of the whole experience. To be honest.
If I had to deal, I could take some garlic butter or take the garlic sauce. I could eat that with other pizzas and other things I like around the house. But yes, so Papa John's is I believe I read a stat that their stock was down 5% already, based upon them leaving, and this was something that was reported hours before we got on. We're partnered with one of their biggest advertisers and promoters, so their trash pizza I believe is going to fail. That being said, when the stock drops, I'd like to buy some stock, and perhaps if it were ever to come back up, I'd like to come up by selling said stock. But that is my L of the week. It's not a strong L. I feel like I came extra strong on my hot take.
Hey,
I'll definitely make it up next week. But Mr. Moore, what is your L of the week?
uh, you know, speaking, just a little bit on, something that we have, something that was discussed earlier. Um, the NRA, man, you motherfuckers, alright, niggas is dying, alright, Chappelle voice, alright, like
Yeah.
literally, we are losing so many young lives. And we understand the power of the almighty dollar and the almighty power of the chopper.
Yep.
That just so happened to work together well.
I'm say that
Uh,
had to be said.
yes. And so it's a capitalist country. We none of that surprising. We're not be mad. Can't be really not mad at anybody trying to protect their money. But at the end of the day, how many kids, let's focus on the kids,
Right.
are dying across party lines because of y'all resistance to cut y'all profit margins from $3 billion to $1.9 billion. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
How many? Just the general idea that we can't send our kids to schools without them having to worry about fucking dying is the most ridiculous shit that is going on right now in America. The fact that we have a president that defends his fucking perverted self, that defends his perverted fucking constituents, that defends this morbid, money hungry organization. It's disgusting. It's fucking disgusting.
Yep.
I don't care. Again, I don't care about party lines. I don't care about none of that shit.
It's bigger than that.
It's bigger than rap. I watch
Facts.
House of Cards. I understand how this shit works. It don't got nothing to do with Democrats and Republicans.
No.
It don't have nothing to do with that. It's all about who can make the power plays and who can get to the bread quickest. And the NRA has never been more outspoken than they've been lately. What was the lady, the spokesperson?
Dana Loesch. I got a hot take about Dana Loesch.
Dana fucking Loesch, who had the audacity to get up on television and say that that said that nobody cares when a young black parent loses their child,
Mm-hmm.
and then goes on to say that news stations and newscasters eat up mass shootings because there's no better ratings push than showing a crying white family on TV. These are the type of people who are unfortunately in positions of power. And again, I've watched House of Cards, nigga.
We've seen it.
And beyond House of Cards, just actual real life politics. The most powerful people in this country are not your House majority leaders.
No, not your governors, not your senators, not your representatives, none of that.
Your whips, or even your president. It's
Nope.
your lobbyists. The
Yeah.
lobbyists.
Uh-huh.
It's these are the people that are literally behind the scenes making everything go. And these people don't give a fuck about nobody but themselves. Now, a lot of us, more educated folk have an idea of that. But not only am I talking to the to the NRA for being just fucking just disgusting and money hungry, I'm talking to the dumb ass. I'm talking to the lower middle class, the lower class Republican Trump supporters.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't understand a year into his run that he does not give a fuck about you.
No.
Okay, this is nothing that's going on right now is for you. If you support him, hey, if you support him just because you're racist, that's on you. All right.
Yeah.
If you hate black people, if you hate whatever, that's completely on you. I ain't gonna say I ain't mad at you for it, cause fuck you. But that's your life. You're actually dumb enough to support this man because you think that he is actually gonna do what's right for the lower and lower middle class, then you deserve the biggest fuck you of the week. And
Facts.
this L is gonna fall on you. Alright?
I couldn't agree more thoroughly, good brother.
Shout out to my man's Joe Biden.
Delaware Joe, 302 shit right there. The king of the Delaware.
We will see you in 2020, God willing. Same thing for you, Bernie Sanders. So, shout out to y'all,
Yeah.
and hopefully they, on the road to the presidency, they will be able to beware the L's. So,
Yeah.
as we wrap it up, for our inaugural show, we appreciate everybody who's listening in. Everybody, who chimed in, or anybody who has been participating on social media, or following the YouTube channel or anything like that, and showing your boys some support. Like we said, this is
Yep.
something that we've been trying to put together for the longest time. And whether it's 5 listeners or 10 listeners or 500, we appreciate all y'all.
Yep. We're gonna keep trying to give y'all consistently great content.
Just,
And just provide. Just continue to support us if you like it. Support us. Make sure you let people know. Follow. Make sure that you put it out there. If you don't like us, that's cool too. You can eat a dick, but
yeah.
yeah, straight like that. But anyway, like so, yeah. Follow. Make sure you follow the Twitter. Beware the L's. At Beware the L's. We're gonna have a SoundCloud link as well. Hopefully we'll get this up on YouTube.
Because it's always been my dream to be a SoundCloud
Yeah, so we
rapper.
can't be.
This is step one.
We're making our way on SoundCloud. So once we get here, with the mixtape will be coming soon. Yeah, so Twitter, follow us each individually on Twitter. Ain't that Wes over here?
Uptown Ace Boogie on the other side.
Hey.
And as we prepare to log out, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, the L's is everywhere. All right, it's what life's about. Our good friend of the show, Norm Kelly, lets us know all the time
Yep.
that the L's, nobody's immune to them. No matter where you.
They gonna find you.
But the biggest takeaway from taking your L's is understanding that you do have to come away with something. You do got to turn these L's into lessons, which in turn allows you to live a better life. All right, so don't let your L's come in vain. They gonna come. Just don't let them.
It's gonna happen. No one is immune. No one can avoid these L's. But it's not about the L you take. It's about what you learn. And I hate to quote Big Sean because I never really fuck about Big Sean. But
we have plenty of Big Sean
Slim.
slander.
Woo, and I've already got a perfect guest in mind for this Big Sean conversation. Last night took an L, but tonight I bounced back. So it's all about the bounce back, ladies and gentlemen.
So thank you, ladies and gents. We will be back bright and early next week, to giving y'all more of this L talk. So tune in. Peace, love, and soul.
Straight like that. We out.